The gatehouse exploded like a toaster packed with 4th of July leftovers. I kid you not. Sparks raining down. Water pouring out onto the entry lane, HOA flags curling up like they were trying to wave goodbye before they burned in the keypad. That thing was spitting molten plastic all over a BMW, and the poor guy behind the wheel still had his blinker going like that was going to help. I stood there across the street, coffee in hand, just me, my mug, and a front row seat to the greatest suburban light show Foxglove Park had ever seen. Didn't even bother talking to anyone. I just raised my cup and said, "That'll be the loose wire I emailed about." BMW guy was losing his mind, screaming into his phone about deductibles and how his wife was going to kill him. I took a long sip and watched the smoke rise, thinking to myself, some lessons just cost more than others. And honestly, I've seen worse on a Tuesday. Oh, right, name's Victor Hale. I mind my business. Grill on Sunday's earbuds, and the rest of the week don't bother nobody except maybe the raccoons who treat my trash cans like a Tetris competition every night. I was supposed to live in peace here. But let me tell you about Mara Yates. 6 years running this HOA, never had to run against anyone. Bob haircut sharper than a promise you know is going to get broken, and a custom license plate that literally says HOA Queen, like in case the white SUV and clipboard didn't make it clear. The Gatehouse. That's her throne room, her cathedral, her personal nerve center of whatever passes for suburban power these days. So here's where it gets good. 2 weeks after I moved in, I spot this sad frayed wire hanging out of the keypad box. When it rains, it lights up blue, which, if you know anything about electricity, is not a good look. Me being me, I don't want to die by accidental electrocution before I get to retire, so I take 17 photos from every possible angle. I send polite emails, 3 actually, each more detailed than the last. Mara. She sends back a 14-page PDF called Visual Harmony Guidelines, and just for flavor, a note about my overly assertive tone and my tendency toward fear-mongering. Yeah, apparently mentioning fire hazard is aggressive here. Who knew? And just for fun, she attaches another PDF on proper channels for maintenance, which basically means fill out 3 forms. Wait for a quarterly meeting present to a subcommittee that meets bi-monthly, unless the moon is full and the second Tuesday isn't a holiday. You get the idea. That wire had enough time to start its own church before it'd ever see a screwdriver. Next HOA meeting. Mara's in rare form, tapping her gavel like she's keeping time for a nonsense orchestra, telling everyone, "Loose wires happen, folks. Normal wear and tear." Meanwhile, she spent the $42,000 maintenance budget on copper lanterns from a boutique website and a fountain that recirculates water, and from the sound of it, pure sadness. That thing gurgled like it was dying by the minute. Now, here come the fines mailbox, too. Beige 3 shades too warm, says the HOA color chart. Garage door has improper posture. Not kidding, that was the wording. $25 here, $50 there, and meanwhile the wire outside is still humming its little death song whenever the sprinklers miss. It became my evening routine just watching Mara fix it with a roll of duct tape the exact color of defeat. And I'm guessing a prayer to the gods of aesthetic continuity. She snapped a selfie, posted it on our social page caption, "Gatehouse refreshed, your safety is our priority." And if you zoomed in behind her shoulder, you could already see the tape sweating off in the morning humidity. People commented heart emojis, you know the type. I commented a link to the National Electrical Code. Mara deleted it within minutes, then DM'd me a warning about negative community energy. When I got a real electrician to swing by, Doug Goodguy owes me a favor. Mara threatened to call security. "You're trespassing on community vibes," she said, standing in that doorway like she was holding the Alamo with a roll of tape and bad decisions. Doug just shrugged, looked at the wire, looked at me, and said, "Happy to testify if anything happens." I stuck his card in my growing Mara folder. Then came the farmers market disaster, 3rd Saturday in June, hotter than asphalt, and Mara decides the Gatehouse needs a glow-up for the event. This is the kind of farmers market where the only local produce is a guy selling organic honey out of recycled shampoo bottles and soap that smells like regret. Mara strings up cheap fairy lights from the gatehouse to the old oak, no UL sticker instructions in 3 languages, and plugs them into the same surge strip as the space heater and the fountain pump and the security guard's Keurig, though the guy only drinks tea. Sure enough, the sky turns mean and green around 2 p.m., a classic summer storm, and then honest to God, the wire arcs, the surge strip melts down, the oak lights up like the 4th. Every fairy light goes supernova, and the gatehouse starts burning from the cedar shingles up. The keypad, screaming its little electronic heart out until it just fizzles. Then boom, the fountain pump goes like a shotgun. The fire trucks show up 8 minutes later, sirens blazing. 3 trucks, an ambulance, the works. The county electrical inspector rolls in 20 minutes after that, summoned by the fire chief, who took one look at the scene and called for backup. And then here's where it goes full movie mode. Insurance rep shows up. Patricia. Gray suit face, like she invented the word liability. She didn't say a word, just walked around with her $2,000 briefcase and took it all in, and you could feel people getting nervous. Inspector ropes off the scene with yellow tape, then asks the big question, the one everyone dreads. Who signed off on these electrical modifications? Mara raises her hand like it's a PTA bake sale, all pageant queen confidence. I supervised all improvements personally. Inspector scribbles. I slide over my 3-ring binder emails, photos, everything time-stamped, including the Mara selfie with the duct tape and a spaghetti mess of cords in the background. The insurance rep finds an unopened invoice from a real electrician dated 5 months back. Mara stamped it non-urgent aesthetics priority. Suddenly, the HOA board starts looking around like someone's pulled the fire alarm under their own feet. You know that whisper you hear when everybody realizes they might be in on something bad? That was the whole back row. One of the guys in golf shorts leans over to his buddy and asks, "We're not covered for this, are we, Patricia?" In that insurance voice that's never good news goes, "Not for willful negligence. You'll be hearing from our attorneys." Fast forward. Emergency town hall. Tuesday night in the shadow of Mara's melted fountain. Fire marshal gets up, microphone in hand. 200 residents staring him down. He puts up blown-up photos, points to the very spot Mara wrapped in duct tape. Fire originated at a non-weatherproof splice, he says, and then without missing a beat, tampering with life safety equipment and falsifying logs is a criminal offense. You could feel the air get sucked right out of the room. Everyone's looking at Mara. She gives that smile, you know, the one that everything's fine smile that never convinces anyone. Next thing, she bolts for the parking lot, makes it 3 steps, trips over a scorched traffic cone, and face plants into the Welcome Home to Foxglove Park banner draped over a table. She gets up, still tangled in that thing like a failed superhero cape, just in time for 2 sheriff's deputies to guide her back to the podium. And here's the part nobody saw coming. County prosecutor, personally invested thanks to the TV cameras, starts reading off citations. Criminal negligence, 4 code violations, and interference with an investigation because Mara thought deleting emails would save her. Spoiler, IT guy had them back in 15 minutes. The HOA board didn't even hesitate. 27-0, even her husband Dale raised his hand after checking that nobody was watching. Mara just stood there draped in the banner, cycling through shock rage, maybe a flicker of realization, probably not, but hey, hope springs eternal. Then the prosecutor hits her with the real news: criminal negligence, up to 18 months behind bars, $20,000 in fines, and restitution for damages that'll break $200,000 easy. Mara's face sheet white. She opens her mouth, shuts it, and sits down so hard I felt it from the back row. And that, folks, is the story of how one loose wire, a little duct tape, and a queen's ego took down the whole royal court. So tell me, what's the wildest HOA disaster you've ever witnessed? Who do you think should pay when power trips end in flames? Drop your story below, hit subscribe. If you've ever wanted to send your HOA a link to the National Electrical Code. And remember, sometimes karma comes with a side of fireworks.